My grandfather expressed himself through art. When you spent time with him and he wasn't working, we would sit at dinner table, lunch table, and he would sketch cartoons on the tablecloths.
If you went out for dinner with him, even though it was a cloth tablecloth, he would only use pencil, but he would sketch and doodle on the tablecloths, always. Until the last few years of his life, he was doing that.
They were happy cartoons. And he was very quiet, but his expression and his communication would come out through his artwork.
I am Barbara Siegel. Ruth and Elliot Handler were my parents.
I'm Cheryl Siegel. Ruth and Elliot Handler were my grandparents. Grandma and Grandpa, to a grandchild, were real-life superheroes. It was like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and we were in the chocolate factory. They had a real childlike spirit. They were like big kids at heart. Both my grandfather and my grandmother had tons and tons of energy, and I think they liked playing with kids best. That was their thing. And so for a grandchild, it was constant fun. And as kids, we would get very excited to go in the factory in Hawthorne, the large factory, and we would watch them assembling toys. It was all like a closely knit family. It felt like family, always.
When I used to go to the factories as a child, there were definitely all different ethnic groups that were making things. They were very, very open to everybody. And I think they treated everybody very equally.
And that included the color of your skin, your sexual orientation. Everybody could be a great employee.
Oh, he was a really kind man. And he was just a good soul.
He just loved children. And when he was probably close to 90, he walked into our house in Malibu, and we had the whole thing done in Hot Wheels, Hot Wheels tablecloth, Hot Wheels blow horns, the whole bit. And do you know, he was almost 90 years old, gets on the floor and starts playing with those kids and blowing the horns and interacting and playing like he was a young person. And the smile on his face, I mean, his face lit up. He was so excited. Grandma was so charismatic that we could walk into a room full of 100, 200 people, and she would walk in and the whole place would light up. That's who she was.
She was a pioneer of her time, for sure. She was always for the women to be successful and strong, and she was a strong person. It wasn't like she was strong and not feeling or walk over people. Anybody in need, she would go out of her way to help. I think with Mattel, she's remembered as creating Barbie. And she sure did. She took it from nothing and pursued when my father felt that nothing was going to be of the doll. And she pursued with it. Most of the men did not think, the buyers in the stores or the people here or any of the men did not think Barbie was going to work. And they were certainly wrong.
She felt like there was a need for a doll that could become whatever little girls wanted to be, a nurse, a doctor, an astronaut, and it allowed them to put themselves into that role, and that it was extremely important, and she didn't take no for an answer, and she went to the designer's home, I believe, at night, and they worked and worked and worked, and everybody told them it was a bad idea.
Yeah, she pursued that completely.
When she thought that something was important, she did not take no for an answer. And I think this is how she thought. You can imagine that you're going to be what you want to be, and you'll be it. And that's what she wanted kids to be able to do.
Yeah.
And she wasn't going to take no for an answer. Together, they were the dynamic duo. And when they walked into a room, faces lit up. Bringing joy to kids, I can see how that would just make my grandmother and my grandfather so happy.